Hi, kia ora, good morning. I'm just sitting having a coffee. Sorry. I I've been writing and laying down and trying to get to sleep, and because I posted some stuff about Doctor Who, talking about how am I ever going to come up with characters and opponents in that as iconic as the Daleks and Cybermen and Weeping Angels and all that. So then I was sitting there laying in the dark, just listening to background noise, coming up with lots of different characters. I've come up with quite a few, very unique ones as well, I might add. So when I get to America and we get together to do our version of Doctor Who, I think Americans are going to be quite proud that they get to have their own version. Speaking of America, over the last couple of days I've been watching. Since I had that dream about the towers coming down, I've been watching the towers come down. And the towers have come down, they're coming down, and they're revealing the wood for, you know that saying, can't see the wood for the trees? They're revealing the trees. The towers are coming down, and I'm seeing what's behind it, and what's behind it is, I can't even, look, I'm having trouble finding the words, to be honest. I've lived an entire lifetime when nobody's believed anything that I say, basically. It's only clients, it's only people who want readings and need help and guidance, and even them, most of them didn't listen to me. And I've spent almost 50 years studying the occult, only for it to turn me into an occult scientist. I started working on biorhythmics around the time I was developing the idea for a kinetic engine. And then when I got locked up and had my phone taken from me and was going into anaphylactic shock twice a day, I had to use biorhythmics and master biorhythmic engineering in order to deal with the pain that I was going through. And believe me when I say it's, I've broken my ankle and dislocated my cortex and torn a ligament. And they say that tearing a ligament is the most painful thing you can experience next to breaking your femur. That even labour isn't as painful. Um, but what I went through with my skin tearing and my flesh rotting and being poisoned and all of that, that was pretty horrendous. And biorhythmics, developing and studying biorhythmics, kept me alive. And every day when I did my blog, I was putting my life in danger, putting my life at risk, putting everything on the line to speak my truth, because I knew that if I was going to be taken seriously as a scientist, I had to do the work to back my claims, and I needed witnesses for it. So when my blog started going from the normal, because it used to be called Science of the no, what was it called? Spirit and the Paranormal. And then it ended up going down a hole. I was called a conspiracy theorist, but I wasn't theorising anything. I was predicting. And it wasn't a conspiracy, it was reporting the truth that I was seeing, reporting everything that I was seeing and being told. So there was no conspiracy theory because it wasn't a conspiracy because it ended up all being true, and it wasn't a theory because it all ended up being true. But it's been 10 years, and I have been called every name under the sun. I have lost everything and everyone. I have been taken to the brink of death so many times. Like the underworld is no stranger to me. I'm so used to being on the brink of death now that it's like, okay, and I have lived below the poverty line to the point where even to this day I don't have a washing machine, I don't have a TV, I don't have a microwave, I don't have nothing. If I need anything, it takes me months to save. I've lived on soup and, pot noodles and like for weeks, living below the poverty line. But again, doesn't bother me. I'm still here. As long as I was getting something, it didn't matter. I had people turning on me so fast that the shock of it was like a whirlwind. Like 1 minute these people were hugging me and telling me they loved me, and then the next minute I was public enemy number one. I had people declare their undying loyalty and then betray me in the worst kinds of ways because of the things I was saying, because nothing I said to them made sense, because everything I said sounds crazy. Donald Trump would never do that. Keir Starmer isn't like that. Elon Musk, he's an angel. He's come to save us. Oh, it'd be good for England to join the EU. Donald Trump isn't trying to take over the king. They're not trying to tear down the monarchy. What are you on about? Donald Trump wouldn't poison people. They're not planning a pandemic. They didn't bomb Chernobyl. And now I'm sitting back, and the last couple of weeks have been quite revelatory in terms of from a scientific perspective, because now all these people are coming out in support of everything I've been saying for all these years, including the stuff that sounded far-fetched. It's just come out today that a quote-unquote pandemic has hit the water in America, and now the water is poisonous to drink. And years ago, I was talking about a thing about don't drink the water, and then when I was trying to work on those, figure out those Pegasus codes, when Donald Trump come to visit the king, and I said he's going to put something in the water, and I kept trying to figure out, was it the Hunter virus thing? Was it, because the Hunter virus... But when I was talking about Keir Starmer and Donald Trump working together to plan some pandemic, remember I was trying to work it all out, and then I said there's the codes I was working on. I could see Donald Trump and water and something to do with not drinking the water, to the point where I put it in Becoming Spellbound, when Rupert's dead mother pops up on the screen and says, "Rupert, Eosp," and he knows not to drink the liquid because the liquid is poison. And I'm starting to realise as well, through watching all the stuff I said, it's an amalgamation, especially like with Becoming Spellbound and my Pegasus codes, an amalgamation of dozens of little events that culminate into an escalation of larger events. So it's like, you know how you have multi-location and bilocation jumps, right? In the Bible, they talk about bilocation and the Virgin Mary. The Virgin Mary was the first one to um, do bilocation, where she was seen in two places at once. Well, in quantum magnetics, or in quantum entanglement, time theory and all that, in order to the way that I do it, I've always seen either multiple events in one vision, or two events in one vision. But I've noticed in watching these towers coming down, it's like a kaleidoscope of little things that I said in one storyline or in one code deciphering, that was seeing dozens of events happening in one vision. Dozens. Not just like multi-location where it's like, you know, three or four things, like dozens. And that's why it was hard for me to, how I keep saying, oh, you know how I said this and then this happened and then something else will happen. I go, oh, well, it wasn't that, it was this. Oh, well, it mustn't have been that, it was this. It turns out it's all of it. But I was expecting to see one or two things. So it was confusing when it turns out that I was seeing 20, 30 things. And if it confused people witnessing it, imagine how it felt for me, knowing as well that the people watching were watching me and going over everything I say, because I'm basically letting them know what their fates are going to be, and they're doing everything they can to stop it. They think if they watch me, they can act on what I'm saying to stop it from happening, but that's not how it works. You can't change your destiny. If 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 God's written it in the Bible, if God has deemed it your fate, you can't change your fate. We're not talking about you making choices and decisions that are going to prove God wrong. We're talking about, when you're talking about the God consciousness, we're talking about God saying this is going to happen, and it does, because He's judging you, and His judgments are final. Where people like King Charles were given the choice, this or that, you can go down this road or you can go down that road, but it's up to you. We're letting you decide the fate you go down. With people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Keir Starmer and that, they're not given that choice. They're told, this is what's going to happen. And you can't change that, because it's God's judgment, and God's judgment is the final judgment, because we're in the end of days, right? We are seeing a separation of the old world and the new world. The new world is very slowly being birthed, as the old world is very catastrophically being blown to bits. So everything that you're seeing at the moment, as I was just saying in my little soliloquy on YouTube, and that all this doom and destruction and hellfire and brimstone that you're seeing, it's done by design. It's supposed to happen this way. It's going exactly the way I said it would. Remember, I said, now that the Epstein files are being forcibly released, Donald Trump is going to ramp up the raw war with Russia and Iran. And that's exactly what's happened. And now it's come out where J.D. Vance has pretty much said, oh yeah, our talks with Iran, it was all just to buy time. And then, of course, now it's come out, Donald Trump owns Palantir, which makes sense now, eh? I only found out this morning Donald Trump owns Palantir with Elon Musk and Thale and all of that. So Keir Starmer signing Great Britain up to Palantir was to please Trump. You know, the whole Proud Boys, everyone worships Lucifer and the cult of Odin, and he's Lucifer. So, you know, they make him offerings. And now Palantir and AI and Elon Musk are losing money hand over fist. People are turning their backs on AI. People are turning their backs on Elon Musk. He's just put up a thing where he's crying. A friend in need is a friend indeed, and you know, if your friend needs help, you're supposed to be there. People are turning their back on him and he's losing his friends because he's lied to them. And they're realising that he was taking them down a very dark, dangerous path, and that losing their life savings and, you know, losing their money isn't worth it because they trusted him and he lied. And the same thing's happening to Donald Trump, and the same thing's happening to Keir Starmer. The UK is on fire. Labour it blows with each other. And remember my blood on his hands dream? I said they were all going to start turning on each other. That's exactly what's happening. Congress, Parliament, the Supreme Courts, they're all at each other's throats because they're panicking, because they know they're going down with the ship and they're pointing fingers. It's exactly what I said in my blood on his hands dream. And that's what's so fascinating, is that after all these years, everything I said is actually playing out in real time, and it's the most surreal feeling because what you're witnessing is the matrix coming down. We have been living an illusion for decades. None of anything we thought was real was real. Turns out Russia and Great Britain were always the bad guys. America, not Russia, God, why did I say Russia? America and Great Britain have always been the bad guys. The politicians of Great Britain instigated the War of Independence with the help of people like Benjamin Franklin. The British government has never ever been on the side of the monarchy. And the one person defending the monarchy couldn't have given two shits about the monarchy before all of this happened, before Starmer got in. And now I've been fighting tooth and nail to warn the monarchy and, you know, to try and protect the monarchy. Because I'm not biased. If it's the truth, it's the truth. And whether I like the person or not, if the truth is there, I speak the truth. And I didn't like the monarchy. I used to be a royalist when I was very little, and then I didn't like them after the whole Diana thing. And then getting caught up in the whole conspiracies, you know, because of my ex and the things that he used to say. And then, of course, I got locked up and the Queen died. And I started getting those codes through and things weren't making sense. And you know, it was kind of like a lot of stuff wasn't adding up. And so I thought, well, I'm locked up, I've got nothing to do. So I started paying attention and documenting things and keeping it with me but being too afraid to say anything. Because in a place like that, they write down everything you say and use it against you. And they wrote down that I was a rock, an ROCK, who claimed to remove people's souls from their bodies because they're morons. Couldn't understand my accent, so they just made shit up. And it ended up losing me everything. But I knew that this had to happen and to just pay attention, and that's what I did. And I thought, when I get out, things will be different. And then when I got out, it took me a long time to pluck up the courage to start talking about the Queen and what those codes were saying. And then Starmer got in, and I started realising that some of the things that were coming through were true. And then I had to be brave at a time when I had cops turning up on my doorstep because my ex was lying to them about me, bringing me on things that had nothing to do with me. Like they tried to arrest me for breathing the same air in a country where somebody in a completely different part of the country said something online that offended him, and my name got brought into it, and I had nothing to do with it. Um, at a time where I was allergic to everything I ate because my body wasn't used to food anymore. So I had to literally retrain myself to eat again. But she said to me in that dream pretty much, please can you help my son? Because they're gonna kill him. They're gonna destroy my empire. They're gonna take everything. And they're gonna do it through Jeffrey Epstein and, blah 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 blah. Well, because you've been witnessing me document everything. And then they came after my phone, they came after my bank, they came after my kids. Everyone turned against me. Friends, neighbours, what little people I had left suddenly vanished from my life. They took my Instagram and my Facebook, the love of my life. All turned against me, just out of nowhere. And I just brushed it off. Because that's what happens when you walk the Christ path. You have to walk through the fire. Because you have to see who has your back and who doesn't. Like Elon Musk said, a friend in need is a friend indeed. And when you're going through stuff, you find out who your friends are. And that's what I said. It's karma, mate. Because now he knows what it feels like. But I lost people who weren't loyal to me because they believed the lies. He lost people who were loyal to him because he lied. Because he's my twin, he's my doppelganger, so everything's opposite land. But unlike him, I didn't cry about it. I spoke my truth. And I let everybody know that when the time comes, and it will be divine, I will be vindicated and proven right about everything, and you will go down for what you did to me. Because in me having to deal with all of that bullshit, innocent people have suffered. I should have been in America years ago. If I had gotten to America years ago, my school would already be built. We wouldn't be having these wars. I would have been taken seriously because I would have had my very established radio show. I'd have my TV show that I was making, my YouTube channel. Everything that I'm planning now, I was supposed to do years ago. But the hordes came and tried to tear me down. And in order to survive it, I had to get bigger and stronger. I had to become like the good version of Goliath in order to take down the hordes of David. Except the Davids were the bad guys. Just think of David and Goliath, but in reverse. They saw me as little and weak and an easy target because I'm kind and I have a good heart. But that was their fatal mistake, because they forgot that even though I'm kind and I have a good heart, my mind is as sharp as a tack. Other than the fact that I was drugged and suffered from narcissistic abuse that messed with my memory, I was smart enough to document things I'd forgotten I'd documented. And then it started reminding me, and I just jumped from clue to clue to clue to clue to clue, which then unlocked codes. And then I was able to see with perfect clarity. And now the thing is, while the matrix is coming down, it's exposing the truth of who these people really are. Palantir and Elon Musk are losing money hand over fist. So what does Keir Starmer do? Oh, we're going to give the British Defence 15 billion to go on drones and AI, which is what Donald Trump and his sons own. So what he's saying is, I'm giving 15 billion to Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Donald Trump's sons, because they're losing money through AI and Palantir and SpaceX. It's not working. People are walking away from it. So I'm going to pretend that I'm helping the British Defence, but I'm actually giving the money to Elon Musk and Donald Trump's sons, because they're the ones that own Palantir, and they're the ones producing the drones that we're going to use. So he's not helping British Defence at all. He's giving his friends a leg up because they've lost money with Palantir and SpaceX and that, and because SpaceX is all Starlink, and they use Starlink and Microsoft and all that to the software and the spyware and the for the drones, and then they're using those drones to bomb like Chernobyl. And then the other thing is, remember I said those earthquakes weren't real and that the heat wave isn't real? Scientists have just come out and said those earthquakes weren't real. And this El Nino heat wave thing is all to coincide with the fact that, because I uncovered it this morning, America are basically like the experts when it comes to nuclear reactors. And they have been studying what happens when you blow up nuclear reactors. And one of the things that doesn't help when it comes to the spreading of radiation is heat. And I said, well, see, there you go. This heat wave that we're having, they perfectly planned the bombing of Chernobyl just recently to trigger the reactor from when they bombed it the last time, and then brought in the heat wave and the earthquakes in order to spread the radiation. And they didn't think people would notice. So now what's going to happen is people close to the epicenter, like in Ukraine, because remember I said they were going to genocide the Slavs, because they want to make Ukraine the New Jerusalem. In order to do that, they need to genocide the Slavs. Well, where is Chernobyl? And the people of Ukraine are now terrified, because they're all walking around with those radiation counter things, and it's rising every day. So now we're going to see a rise in deaths of people in Ukraine from radiation poisoning, and it'll spread to the surrounding countries. So what it's saying is that America and NATO don't give a shit about Europe and Asia, because they're the ones who are going to be targeted by it. As long as they get to win, they don't care who they kill. And you're talking about hundreds of millions, even billions of people that they're willing to kill off in order to escape being held accountable for being pedophiles and human traffickers and blood drinkers, basically. So now that it's come out that AI is crashing and burning, they're really, really trying to pump it. The children need to learn the AI because this is just the smartest thing to do. No, just remember Metal Gear Solid, Revengeance, hooking the kids up. It's right there in the game. But people are turning their backs on Donald Trump, on Elon Musk, on Keir Starmer, on the Labour Party, and unfortunately on the King. There's planned protests for tomorrow at Windsor Castle. It breaks my heart. All he had to do was listen. If he had just listened to me, he had the opportunity to make Great Britain the envy of the world. And now people are so angry and feel so betrayed that even the church has turned on him. Because he was told, be friends with the Muslims. Now the thing is, his being friends with the Muslims has stopped him from getting Great Britain bombed by Iran. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but the way he's been advised was done on purpose to make him look like the bad guy, so that when they brought the Epstein thing in, when the whole going back to the EU thing, you know, when the Fabian Society put all their Nazi regime plans into place, people would see his actions as being unforgivable and traitorous, which is exactly what's happened. And I told him, you need to arrest Keir Starmer and dissolve Parliament. I said it over and over and over and over and over again. But he didn't listen. And now there's mass protests planned for tomorrow. And his grandchildren are getting shouted at in the streets, and when people are losing everything in Great Britain and they're living in fear, which is what they've been fed. I just was talking about the doom scrolling and how they purposefully plant things on social media to raise people's cortisol levels so that they can keep them living in fear, so that they can keep them down. It's all part of living in the matrix, keeping you plugged into the matrix. People are living in fear. They don't know where to turn. They can't eat. They can't afford to live. They're losing their homes. They're losing their lands, their farms. They're losing their family legacies, everything, because of Keir Starmer and his loyalty to Donald Trump and the EU, and you know the rest of the Fabian Society and the Nazi regime, the Reich. So what does he go and do? He gives £1 billion to Jeffrey Epstein's shipping company that trafficked children, and he gives $15 billion to Donald Trump and his sons and Elon Musk, because they're sad that they're losing money because people are turning their back on AI. Now, what I said was, this needs to happen because people are realising, holy shit, Donald Trump was never on our side. Keir Starmer did not care. Labour do not care about what happens to us. And it's tipping people over the edge. but I've handed you all the answers. And it's like I lit the match to the fuse and now I'm watching it all explode. And now I just posted a thing from a physicist, an actual physicist with an actual degree, who's come out and just confirmed everything I said about biorhythmic engineering. She called it something else. She gave it hippie language, hippie words, but she's talking about biorhythmic engineering, and I'm like, thank you. That's another one I was right about. And geophysicists coming out. Oh, those earthquakes weren't real. They were man-made. And I'm like, thank you. That was another thing I was right about. Oh, there's you can't drink the water in America. It's poisonous. Thank you. That's another thing I was right about. Oh, they're protesting wanting to get rid of the king. Thank you. That's another thing I was right about. People are turning their back on Elon Musk and they're losing billions, and SpaceX is crashing and burning and taking the whole stock market down with them. Thank you. That's another thing I was right about. Capitalism is dead. Thank you. That's another thing. BlackRock, Vanguard. Remember I had them on my list? Larry Fink and all that. Remember I had them on my list and I said they're all going to go down? Thank you. The articles are all there. But I didn't know that Donald Trump owned Palantir. But now it all makes sense. And remember I said, you know how him and Starmer were fighting with each other? Don't believe it because it's all fake. Yep. And Keir Starmer's been handing him millions and Elon Musk millions in contracts to spy on Great Britain and bring down our monarchy and kill Europeans and Asians with radiation poisoning. Because they're the ones that own all the software for the drones and the AI software for the drones and, you know, the satellites. And then, of course, you know, Mira was talking about Vladimir Putin's rival to Starlink. Elon Musk used the drones to blow it all up. And I said on my thing, I told Vladimir not to trust him. And of course it was Elon Musk that blew it up. He's very versed in blowing things up. I keep saying that. Oh, before, you know, it barely even got off the ground and Ukraine blew it up with drones. No, you mean Elon Musk and Donald Trump and his sons blew it up with drones and got Ukraine to do it, because that's what people need to understand. They're throwing stones and hiding their hands, but they're getting Ukraine to throw the stones on their behalf, so it doesn't look like they're involved. But I uncovered it all, didn't I? I proved it all. And they keep saying, oh, war with Russia's escalating. No, it's not. War with Iran is escalating. No, it's not. Because what's actually happening is they're threatening to escalate these things because of the fact that they're panicking because their lives have been set on fire, which is exactly what I said was going to happen. Everything is happening exactly how I said it was going to happen. I haven't been wrong about a single thing yet. So you have to trust me. You know, if I am a political analyst and a military analyst, I'm seeing everything word for word of how I've analysed it. It's happening word for word, and it's the freakiest thing, because now I've had people for weeks coming out and dropping truths that prove everything that I've been saying about everything and everyone spot on correct with pinpoint accuracy. And if Vladimir Putin and the king had just listened to me, they wouldn't be in the mess they're in now. And this is what happens when people think they know better. They looked at me and thought, she's just this, she's got a broken tooth, she's got holes in her clothes, she's a pauper. She was locked up for, and called nuts. Even her own kids don't want to talk to her. This was back at the time. So why should we listen to her? When, like, she's just this crazy woman that walks around in a t-shirt and bare feet. And she got kicked out of school at 14 for having a big mouth. And no one even likes her. And she sits isolated like a little weirdo talking to all the birds and animals. Why should we listen to her when Donald Trump and Elon Musk are billionaires? Well, who's laughing now? People aren't writing to bring me down. I put my life on the line for these people. And I got no loyalty in return. They saw money, they saw popularity, they saw hanging out with the right people. A billionaire president and a billionaire king doesn't want to be seen with somebody like me, but they'll be seen with people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And I said, don't do it. Don't get on that elevator. Don't get on the elevator. Remember my dream? Don't get on the elevator. And they got on the elevator. And now they're stuck. And it's like, well, you can only tell someone so many times, eh? My work speaks for itself. And my work will stand up in a court of law. They weren't smart enough to kind of say to themselves, why are people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk going after her in the first place if she's only a pauper with a broken tooth and holes in her clothes? Like, why are they investing so much time and energy and money targeting someone who's insignificant? One woman sitting alone in her flat in total isolation. Why are they bothering with her? But no, they didn't see that, did they? Oh, well, if they're saying she's this, she must be. Yes, I will sign a contract with you so that I can earn billions with you. And I'm like, don't sign the contracts. Don't do it. I'm telling you now. Don't do it. And now look. But the thing is, personal opinion aside, they're still not going to get what they want from Iran and Russia out of all of this because God said exactly how it was going to go and he's never wrong. And what's going to happen is, because they're all panicking, because Germany has collapsed, and France is collapsing, and Spain is collapsing, and Great Britain's on fire, and America's on fire, and Israel's on fire, and they're trying to cause a distraction so that there's no elections, so that there's no arrest. As Vance said, they're trying to buy time. That's exactly what they're doing. So they're causing distractions. But time is up. Their time is up. And now God's collecting their souls. Satan is personally coming for Donald Trump. When I found out that he owned Palantir and that he's the reason why people in Ukraine are suffering from radiation poisoning and that's when I knew there and then I hate that man with every fibre of my being. And there's two people in this world that God has given me permission to hate, and that is Donald Trump and my ex-husband. But I've also allowed him to be the one to deal with it. And with Donald Trump, he's handed the case over to Satan. His soul has already been extracted because, as we know from that dream, Archangel Michael did it. And he's the one that fights the demons. So he's been fighting the inner demons inside Donald Trump and pulling them out, revealing them. And my God, have people been witnessing it? And now that his demons are being extracted and the Epstein files are all getting released and people are about to see who that man really is, now that his demons have been lifted up and out to be exposed for the world to see, Satan's going to come for him. Satan will come for him. So he will be found on the floor at some point. They keep saying he keeps passing out on stage and fainting. Yeah. He keeps going off to have these big medical tests and all that sort of thing. And these reports that he keeps like fainting on stage and falling asleep and all of that because of his medical issues, that's because he's dying. Because when Archangel Michael removed his demons were attached to his soul. He has no soul now. And what happens when you have no soul? You cease to exist. So I was off with my time frames about when he was going to leave this world, but it is coming. It's getting closer and closer and closer. There was a video of him today, so out of it, he was having a conversation with a Roosevelt digital graphics simulation, where he was having like an actual conversation with him where he thought he was real. And if you've ever been around dying people, that happens a lot. If you've been around dying people, if you work in palliative care or in hospices, or if you're Indigenous, I don't know about other Indigenous cultures, but I know in my culture, when people are dying, we surround them to walk them over to the other side. But I'm a high priestess, the afterlife and death and dying is everything that I am, which is why I'm so comfortable sitting in death, because I've died so many times, but I am death. I rule death, and I rule birth, and I rule the afterlife as a Scorpio. But if you've been around people who are dying, they, it's not hallucinating, because it is real. They start talking to people that aren't really there, because their souls are getting ready to leave. But he's not going anywhere good. He was standing there in front of Roosevelt, who was like a digital graphic simulation, having a full-blown conversation with him. So that's a sign that he's dying. And Elon Musk is learning that you shouldn't screw over your friends. It's karma. Everything they wanted for me. No friends, no money, being hated, people turning against them, losing everything, reputation destroyed, deportation, all of that sort of thing is all stuff that's happening to them. They wanted me dead. They wanted me hated. They wanted me with no support, no friends, no money, nothing. And now it's all happening to them because that's karma. It is the laws of convex linear reversion. But they're not going to get away with what they're doing to Russia. And they're not going to get away with what they're trying to do with Iran. Mark my words. Iran and Russia aren't even going to have to do a thing. You know, I was watching Donald Trump and all I kept seeing was grim. Grim Rapper, yeah? It's like his face was turning like a skull. So the clock is ticking. And I do believe that Elon Musk may be about to get arrested. Him and Keir Starmer, I think Elon Musk is about to get arrested. He's done something, and I think he's going to get thrown under the bus. I think Trump may possibly throw him under the bus, or he's done something where the courts aren't going to take it very lightly. And but I think what's going to happen is drugs and alcohol are going to get him. Military trucks coming out of nowhere and just gathering people like von der Leyen up and Mers and Macron and all of them. Just military trucks coming out of nowhere and just gathering these people up and taking them to the courts. Remember I had that dream where they all got put on a plane and flown to the courts and they were never seen again? I had a dream where I was at an airport with a friend from school, Lisa Jorgensen, and I was trying to get on a plane and I was watching them all get put on a plane and it looked like a military plane and they were being flown somewhere. And I said maybe it was somewhere like Guantanamo. We're about to see that. Trump is now the most hated man in the world. He is the least popular president. He is the least popular world leader. And he's fast becoming the most hated man in history. The only people who support him in America are the ones where they have been able to feed them the mind control. Excuse me. Because, like I said today, nobody in their right mind would defend a man with that many criminal convictions, with what's about to come out on with the Epstein files. And the thing is, now that they've been forced to be released, unredacted, people are about to see the truth of who he really is, and then that's it, it's game over. But he's panicking, and Starmer's panicking, and NATO, like Rutt and all of that, they're all panicking because they're all in those files. And the second those files are unredacted, they can't hide anymore. So what are they trying to do? Start a war with Russia, start a war with Iran. It's everything I said. Start a war with Russia, pick a fight with the Middle East, blame the Jews. It's everything I said. Everything to escape what's the courts gave them until today, that they're to be released today. And so they're panicking. They're doing everything they can. And Great Britain's like, well, we'll give you 15 billion if you want to start a war, we'll give you 15 billion to do it. And God's like, no. I got, when Starman gave his speech, I said I got to him, I got there first. days ago. Everything he said was everything I had said right up until this morning. So I got there first. Now he just looks like an idiot for proving me right about everything I said he was going to do. Although at the time I didn't know Donald Trump owned Palantir. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, what? He owns what? So when Don Jr. and Eric said, our drone company's got nothing to do with their father, their drone company uses Palantir software and their father owns Palantir. So it's got everything to do with their father. And Keir Starmer's just given his pals $15 billion to help cause a distraction because they know the Epstein files are coming out. But it's too late because I got there first. And watching it all unfold, as I'm walking away and everything's exploding and catching on fire behind me, all I can hear is na 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 na, oh na na na, na 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 na. While I'm walking away in slow motion as everything's blowing up behind me. And I'm headed straight for America. And I'm actually really excited about it. Going back to the beginning, getting to start all over again with a clean slate. As I'm moving towards America, Musk and Trump have been pulled away from it. And that's what you need to understand. We're witnessing the separation of the two worlds. It's like, you know, when a rocket goes up and it lets go of the fuselage. Only one can go into the future. And in order for something to rise, it has to let go of everything that's holding it back. And what's been holding the new world back is the old world, the old way of doing things. And our governments have been doing the exact same thing for decades, and in some cases centuries. And now it's time for change. But in order for that to happen, they needed to be exposed. So everything that you're seeing in the world right now, even though it looks like hellfire and brimstone, it's to burn everything down so that you can see the truth of what it is you're looking at. And then now with these files being released and people like von der Leyen and Zelensky and Starmer and all that mentioned in them, they're all in them. They're panicking. But as the truth rises, they're being pulled down. And as their world collapses, our world is being rebuilt. And then we get to start again and do it right this time. There'll be an election here in the UK where it's not going to be Labour or the Tories that win, or the Green Party, or even Reform, because the thing is, Farage will go down with Trump, just like Starmer. Farage. Tucker Carlson said that George Galloway should run for Prime Minister. I 100% agree. I have a lot of respect for that man. He's, like me, been put through hell. He knows the truth about Russia, how they've been innocent this whole time. He speaks in defence of Russia, just like I was as well. You always have to question why they target the people that they do. But I feel like I'm the conductor at the moment, and I composed an orchestra. Sorry, I feel like a conductor, and the world is my orchestra, and I've composed an opera, and I'm waving and I'm watching it all, just like in Fantasia, Disney's Fantasia. And you're going to collapse over here, and you're going to collapse over there. And Donald Trump, I'm looking right at you. Boom, doo doo doo, boom, doo dee dee, boom. So just don't panic, because I haven't let you down yet, have I? I might be off with my timings, but the events that I see, it's all happening exactly how I said. So have faith and don't be afraid. God knows what He's doing, and my God, has He orchestrated this thing perfectly. Just remember how it ends in the Bible. Read Satan's doom. We're in that part. So I actually wrote a scene in my version of an episode. I've written 13 episodes in the back of my head, and one of them I just documented was World War II soldiers, or not just soldiers, but people of World War II rising up from the dead to help the living fight the enemy, because in their words, we know what we're doing, we've done this before, we know how to handle them. And that's a whole episode. That's a whole story that I wrote for the Time Jumping Detective. I haven't given the episode a name yet, but it'll be something like The Dead Shall Rise, or something like that. I don't know. I haven't given the episode a name yet. I've just wrote one called Babysitting, Clown Face, The Stepford Wives. Yeah, but yeah, that one but it's a whole episode where all these events start playing out. Just imagine Doctor Who, an episode where it's in London and all hell's breaking loose politically, and bombs are dropping all over London, and people are scared in that, and the dead of World War II rise up and help them fight the enemy, because they know what they're doing, because they've lived it before. We're the experts. We're here to help. And so the dead work with the living in the episode to fight the regime. I'm not going to go into any more detail after that, but yeah. And that's in the Bible too. The dead are judged. So just hang in there and keep the faith, because everything's happening the way it needs to happen. And what it's doing is it's exposing the people that can be trusted and the people who can't. And the people who can't be trusted, like the fuselage, when the ship breaks up, when the rocket breaks up and one goes one way and one goes the other, that's happening now. We're at the part where it's Velcro skin, and it's a little painful, but it has to happen in order to separate the two parts. I promise you, when this is over, you're not going to be sorry how any of this happened. We have all taken a lot of hits and losses and damage from it, but I promise you with all my heart, you're not going to be sorry with what we all get out of it. A new dawn rises. We all get a new spring. We all get a rebirth. There'll be no more droughts, no more no more disasters, no more famine, no more toxic food, no more toxic politicians, no more laws forced upon us. Factories will open up again. Jobs will be abundant. Housing will be abundant. We'll plant trees. We'll clean up the waters. All the water animals will be happy. All the animals will be happy. The elderly will live healthier lives. Things like dementia will vanish. Things like cancer will vanish. Autism will vanish. We're living in the matrix. And now that the veil is starting to come down, remember I said God was pulling, every time I mess with my phone, God pulls the veil back more and more and more. Well, the veil's been pulled right back now. And now you can't see everything you know about these people. So wait for these files to come out. Because something's coming out that's going to tip everyone over the edge, and that's it, it's game over. And then that's when the trucks will come and round them up. If the people don't do it themselves first. Okay? I'm never wrong. Have faith in Mama Bear. I've got you. I'm just so sad about the king. If only he'd listened, eh? He could have been the envy of, well, I mean, he was the envy, that's the whole point, but he could have, if he had listened to me, we could have turned Great Britain into something that the rest of the world were just envious of. I want to be just like Great Britain. There's a reason why it was called Great. Now it's just Britain, because it's not great anymore. It's not make Britain great again. It's make Britain the best. That would be my slogan if I was Prime Minister. I'll make Britain the best. I'll make Britain the best. United Kingdom the best. I'll make Britain the best in the world. I'll make people just envious of it with how clean it is and how healthy it is and how happy it is. I would guarantee you if I was Prime Minister, Britain would be number one for the biggest tourist destination and the happiest nation, the happiest continent, the happiest isles. Because they're separate countries, but you know what I mean. The people of England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, the people of the United Kingdom would be ranked number one for the happiest, I can't say country, because they're different countries, but you know what I mean. The happiest place on earth. That's what they used to say about Disneyland. If only he'd listened. The thing is, I know that if I stood at that podium outside number 10 with the news watching, I would be able to talk the people of Great Britain down. I'd be able to calm their anger if the king just let me tell them what I would want to tell them. Everything would change overnight. People would be rubbing their eyes and going, wait, what? How did that happen? So that's it, it's over. And now, not only is it over, but it's going to be better than it's ever been in my lifetime because of what she just said. It'd be like that. Oh my God. So maybe the king wasn't so bad. Maybe the king was a victim too. And I'd give the people exactly what they wanted. But more to make up for their suffering. And then they could have their election. And then I could leave and go to America. If only he'd listened. Right, so I'm going to go. Just hang in there. It's coming, I promise. I'll speak to you later. I was right about everything. Mwah.